We're standing at a turning point in the tech world, and whether people realize it or not, this moment could quietly redefine how humans and machines coexist. Tesla is preparing to launch Optimus Gen 3, and Elon Musk has made one thing clear: this robot isn't a side project. It's a bet on the future. Musk believes Optimus could become the most important product Tesla has ever built, even more impactful than electric cars. That's a massive claim, and it immediately raises a bigger question. Why is he so confident? For decades, the idea of intelligent humanoid robots has been wrapped in fear. Movies trained us to expect the worst: machines that think too much, robots that don't listen, stories where technology slips out of human control and everything spirals. Those images stuck. They shaped how people react whenever a robot starts looking or moving a little too human. So when Optimus enters the conversation, that fear resurfaces almost instantly. People don't just see a machine, they see a threat. But that fear might be aimed in the wrong direction, because Optimus Gen 3 isn't being built to replace humanity. It's being built to support it. Musk has repeatedly said, the goal is simple: remove tedious, exhausting, and time-consuming work from human lives. Cleaning, organizing, repetitive labor, tasks that drain time but don't create meaning. Optimus is designed to handle those jobs so people don't have to. And unlike humans, it doesn't get tired, injured, or burned out. That alone changes productivity in ways most people haven't fully processed yet. What makes Gen 3 different is that this is the first version that's expected to step beyond controlled demos and into real-world use. Tesla has suggested it could produce between 5,000 and 10,000 units by 2026. That might sound small, but for a humanoid robot with real AI and human-like hands, it's enormous. Musk himself said reaching that level would already count as a major success. It signals that Optimus is moving from concept to reality, and then there's the way it learns. Unlike traditional robots that rely on rigid programming, Optimus is designed to learn by watching. Tutorial videos, demonstrations, real-world examples, much like how humans pick up new skills. Reports claim this imitation learning could allow Optimus to rapidly expand its abilities without constant reprogramming. Tesla hasn't revealed every detail, but even the idea alone suggests a future where robots improve faster than anything we've seen before. What really caught people off guard, though, was the design shift. Early versions of Optimus looked mechanical and unfinished, functional but clearly robotic. Gen 3 is different. Musk described it as looking like a human in a robot suit. That's not just marketing. It reflects a deliberate push toward familiarity. Humans trust what feels familiar. A robot that moves naturally, stands upright, and mirrors human proportions feels less threatening, even if it's far more capable. This realism opens the door to some wild speculation. Rumors suggest Optimus could eventually assist in healthcare, maybe even medical procedures, thanks to its rumored hand dexterity. That part remains unverified and likely years away, but it shows how far people think this technology could go. Other claims say Optimus could handle childcare, elder care, or even act as a long-term companion. Tesla hasn't confirmed most of this, but it hasn't fully shut the door either. At the same time, Optimus isn't entering an empty field. Competitors are moving fast. Boston Dynamics Atlas has shocked the industry with its strength, flexibility, and industrial focus. Atlas can lift heavy loads, rotate joints beyond human limits, and operate in harsh environments. It's a monster in factories. Optimus takes a different path. Instead of prioritizing raw power, Tesla focuses on scale, dexterity, and affordability. One robot built for industry, the other built for everywhere. And this is where Tesla's real advantage starts to show. The company already knows how to mass-produce complex machines, gigafactories, batteries, custom AI chips. Vertical integration. Tesla doesn't rely on outside suppliers the way most robotics companies do. That gives it control over cost, speed, and iteration. Musk has even suggested that once production reaches 1 million units per year, Optimus could cost somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. That's less than many cars, of course. Early versions won't be that cheap. Initial models could cost significantly more. But Tesla's strategy is clear. Scale first, cost later. It's the same playbook used for electric vehicles, and it worked. If Optimus follows the same curve, humanoid robots could move from luxury machines to household tools faster than anyone expects. This raises the question people are really afraid to ask. What happens to jobs? The truth is uncomfortable, but unavoidable. Some roles will disappear. Repetitive labor always does when automation improves. But new roles appear just as quickly. Robot maintenance, supervision, AI training, data analysis. Entire job categories that didn't exist a decade ago are already forming around automation. Robots don't end work. They change it, and this shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly. First, in factories, then in warehouses, then in homes. By the time people realize how much has changed, the technology feels normal. That's how every major transformation unfolds. Electricity, the internet, smartphones, humanoid robots are next. So when Optimus Gen 3 finally arrives, it won't just be another product launch. It will be a signal. A glimpse into a future where robots aren't science fiction villains or background machines, but everyday assistants, helpers, companions. The real question isn't whether robots will become part of our daily lives, it's how quickly we'll stop being surprised when they do. What makes this moment even more unsettling for some people is how natural the transition already feels. Optimus doesn't arrive with flashing warnings or dramatic takeovers. It arrives quietly, doing chores no one enjoys, folding laundry, carrying groceries, organizing clutter, and once those tasks disappear from daily life, people don't ask for them back. Convenience has a way of becoming permanent. That's also why Musk keeps stressing that Optimus isn't meant to think for itself in some uncontrolled way. Every action is bounded by software, sensors, and safety layers. The robot doesn't wake up with ambition. It responds to instructions, environments, and constraints set by humans. Even the learning process is supervised. Watching videos doesn't mean copying blindly. It means extracting patterns, filtering unsafe behavior, and executing only what aligns with its operational rules. That distinction matters more than most headlines suggest. Still, the speed of progress is hard to ignore. Early demos showed Optimus moving awkwardly, almost like a toddler learning to walk. Recent footage tells a different story. Movement is smoother. Balance is more confident. Transitions between steps look intentional instead of reactive. Tesla has quietly solved some of the hardest problems in humanoid robotics: dynamic balance, force control, and real-time perception. These aren't flashy breakthroughs, but they're the ones that separate toys from tools. The hands are another turning point. Most robots can grip, very few can manipulate. Optimus is being trained to handle fragile objects without crushing them, while still applying enough force to be useful. That balance opens doors far beyond factories. Homes, hospitals, workshops, places where precision matters more than strength. Once a robot can reliably use tools designed for humans, it no longer needs a special environment. It fits into the world as it already exists. This is where comparisons with Atlas become unavoidable. Atlas is extraordinary, but it's optimized for industrial performance. Optimus is being shaped for general-purpose life. One lifts heavy machinery. The other pours drinks without spilling. One excels in controlled environments. The other is being taught to adapt. Neither approach is wrong. They simply point to different futures. And it's becoming clear that both futures may exist side by side. Behind all of this is Tesla's obsession with data. Every movement Optimus makes feeds back into a larger system. Every success and failure becomes training material. This mirrors how Tesla trained its self-driving software, collecting billions of miles of real-world data. The same feedback loop is now being applied to physical labor. The more Optimus works, the better it gets. Not individually, collectively. Skills learned by one robot can be shared across the entire fleet. That's what makes the long-term implications so hard to wrap your head around. Improvements don't scale linearly. They compound. 1,000 robots learning means 1,000,000 improvements propagate almost instantly. This is why Musk talks about abundance instead of scarcity. If labor becomes cheap and scalable, the cost of goods drops, services expand, entire economic assumptions start to wobble. Of course, this vision comes with ethical weight. Who controls the robots? Who benefits first? Who gets left behind during the transition? These questions don't have easy answers, and Tesla doesn't pretend otherwise. But avoiding the conversation doesn't stop the technology. It just delays preparation. History shows that societies adapt best when they acknowledge change early instead of denying it. There's also a quieter shift happening on a personal level. People are starting to imagine robots, not just as workers, but as companions. Someone to check in, someone to help aging parents, someone to reduce loneliness in a world where isolation is growing. Optimus isn't marketed as emotional, at least not yet, but even basic. Interaction can feel meaningful when it's consistent and helpful. That's why the debate around Optimus often misses the real point. People argue about whether robots will replace jobs, but history shows that technology rarely removes work outright. It reshapes it. The bigger disruption comes from how fast that reshaping happens. With Optimus, the pace isn't measured in decades. It's measured in product cycles. Each new generation closes the gap between interesting demo and everyday utility. What makes Gen 3 especially important is that it's not being designed as a one-off machine. It's being built as a platform, a foundation Tesla can keep upgrading through software, training data, and hardware revisions. That means the robot someone buys or rents isn't frozen in time. It evolves. Skills expand. Performance improves. Over time, that creates a strange new dynamic where physical machines age more like software than appliances. There's also a subtle shift happening in how value is defined. For most of history, productivity was tied to human hours. More work meant more people, or longer days. Optimus breaks that link. One robot can work through the night, repeat tasks perfectly, and never lose focus. That doesn't just change factories, it changes expectations. If productivity becomes abundant, then creativity, judgment, and human connection become the real scarce resources. This is why Musk keeps talking about a future where labor is optional. Not because people stop contributing, but because contribution changes form. Humans move up the value chain. Machines handle the physical grind. It sounds idealistic, but it's not entirely new. Agriculture, manufacturing, and computing all went through similar transitions. Each time, fear came first. Adaptation followed. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. Optimus Gen 3 still has to prove itself outside controlled environments. Real homes are messy. Real people are unpredictable. Real-world safety is unforgiving. Tesla knows this, which is why the rollout is expected to be cautious. Limited environments first, narrow tasks, heavy monitoring. Progress, not spectacle. And that cautious approach might be the smartest signal of all. Truly transformative technology doesn't need to shout, it just needs to work. Once people see a robot reliably helping without causing problems, trust builds naturally. And trust is what allows technology to scale. So when you hear bold numbers and sweeping predictions, it's worth separating hype from trajectory. The exact timelines may slip. The final form may look different. But the direction is clear. Humanoid robots are leaving research labs and entering real life. Optimus Gen 3 is simply one of the first serious attempts to make that transition at scale. In the end, the most surprising part may not be what Optimus can do, but how quickly it stops feeling strange. One day, seeing a robot carrying groceries or tidying a room will barely register. It will feel normal. And when that happens, we'll realize the future didn't arrive with a bang. It arrived quietly on two legs, doing the jobs we were happy to let go. That quiet arrival is exactly what makes this shift so powerful. Big revolutions usually announce themselves with disruption and chaos. This one doesn't. It blends in. A robot doesn't storm into society and demand attention. It earns acceptance by being useful. The moment Optimus starts consistently solving small, annoying problems, resistance softens. People stop asking whether it should exist and start asking how soon they can get one. And this is where Gen 3 becomes more than just another iteration. This version represents Tesla's attempt to cross the invisible line between interesting technology and daily utility. Previous generations were proof of concept. Gen 3 is proof of it. It's the first version built with the expectation that it will leave the lab, enter homes, factories, and workplaces, and quietly integrate into human routines. That expectation alone changes how. Everything is designed from safety systems to movement patterns to how the robot interacts with people who aren't engineers. 1. Overlooked detail is how Optimus is being trained to exist around humans, not just work for them. Humans are unpredictable. We leave objects in strange places. We move without warning. We break routines constantly. Traditional robots struggle with that chaos. Optimus is being developed specifically to tolerate it. That's why so much emphasis is placed on vision-based understanding, real-time adaptation, and learning from messy, imperfect examples. It's not about perfection. It's about resilience. This also explains why Tesla keeps emphasizing vision over specialized sensors. Cameras see the world the way humans do. That alignment matters. It means Optimus learns the same visual cues people rely on: posture, motion, object placement, intent. The robot isn't just calculating distances, it's interpreting scenes. That's a massive leap in how machines interact with reality, and it's one of the reasons progress has accelerated so quickly in recent years. Another thing people underestimate is how software updates will reshape what a robot means. In the past, buying a machine meant locking in its abilities. With Optimus, abilities expand after purchase. A robot that starts out cleaning and organizing could later learn to cook simple meals, assist with repairs, or support mobility for someone recovering from an injury. This creates a strange but powerful dynamic where ownership becomes a long-term relationship, not a transaction. That relationship raises new questions, not just technical ones, but social ones. How do people treat a machine that looks human, speaks naturally, and helps every day? Even without emotions, humans project meaning onto anything that responds consistently. We name devices. We thank digital assistants. We feel frustration when they fail and relief when they work. Optimus sits right in the middle of that psychological space, and Gen 3 is the first version that could truly trigger it. This is also why Tesla is being careful with how much personality it introduces. Too little, and the robot feels cold. Too much, and it crosses into discomfort. The balance is subtle: a calm voice, predictable behavior, clear feedback, enough expression to communicate intent without pretending to be human. That design philosophy suggests Tesla understands that acceptance isn't about intelligence alone, it's about trust. Meanwhile, the broader economic implications keep unfolding in the background. As robots take on more physical tasks, the value of time shifts. Tasks that once consumed hours shrink into minutes. Entire categories of work become optional rather than mandatory. This doesn't eliminate effort, it redistributes it. Humans spend less energy maintaining life and more energy shaping it. That shift may be the most profound change of all. Still, it's important to stay grounded. Optimus Gen 3 won't instantly solve every problem. It won't be perfect, it will make mistakes. Early adopters will encounter limitations. Tasks will fail. Edge cases will surface. That's not a flaw, it's the process. Every transformative technology goes through a phase where expectations outpace reality. What matters is whether progress continues steadily afterward, and all signs suggest it will. The momentum behind humanoid robotics isn't slowing. Investment is rising. Talent is shifting. Research is accelerating. Optimus isn't alone, but it represents one of the clearest attempts to bring everything together: hardware, software, data, manufacturing, and real-world deployment under one unified vision. So when people ask whether robots like Optimus will truly become part of everyday life, the answer isn't speculative anymore. It's logistical. It's about timelines, cost curves, and deployment strategies. The direction is already set. The only uncertainty is how fast society adapts once the technology proves itself useful. Years from now, Gen 3 may look primitive compared to what follows: bulkier, slower, less capable. But it will be remembered for something else entirely. It will be remembered as the moment humanoid robots stopped being an idea and started being normal. Not exciting, not scary, just present. And once something becomes normal, it becomes permanent. That sense of permanence is what truly separates this moment from every robotic breakthrough before it. For decades, humanoid robots appeared, impressed the public, and then quietly faded back into research labs. Optimus Gen 3 feels different because it's not being introduced as a spectacle. It's being positioned as infrastructure. Something that doesn't need applause to justify its existence. Something that earns its place by showing up every day and working. What's happening behind the scenes is just as important as what we see on stage. Tesla isn't just refining motors and joints. It's building an ecosystem. Training pipelines, simulation environments, Real-world feedback loops. Every small task Optimus completes feeds into a larger system that improves all future units. That means progress isn't limited by one robot's experience. It's multiplied across the entire fleet. This collective learning model is one of the most underrated aspects of the project, and it changes the economics in a way most people haven't fully absorbed yet. Traditional labor scales one worker equals one output. Robots scale exponentially. Improve one algorithm, and thousands of robots get better overnight. That's why Musk keeps returning to the idea of abundance. If labor becomes cheap and scalable, the cost of goods collapses. Scarcity fades. Entire business models are forced to evolve or disappear. This doesn't mean humans lose purpose. It means the definition of value shifts. Physical effort becomes less central. Creativity, empathy, strategy, and oversight rise in importance. We've seen this before. Farmers once made up most of the population. What matters in the short term is trust. Trust that the robot won't hurt anyone. Trust that it won't malfunction unpredictably. Trust that it serves human interests rather than undermines them. Tesla knows this, which is why Gen 3 is expected to launch with strict limitations. Narrow capabilities, clear boundaries, heavy monitoring. Expansion comes later, once confidence is earned. And that's what makes this launch so significant. Not because Optimus Gen 3 will immediately change the world, but because it marks the moment when change becomes unavoidable. Once a humanoid robot proves useful at scale, there's no incentive to stop. Competition accelerates. Costs drop. Capabilities expand. The curve steepens. In hindsight, people may look back and wonder why it felt controversial at all. Why there was so much fear. Why the idea of a machine helping with daily life seemed unsettling. The same way we now wonder how anyone once resisted electricity or the internet, the discomfort fades. The utility remains. So as Optimus Gen 3 steps into the real world, the most important thing to watch isn't how fast it moves or how much it can lift. It's how quickly people stop questioning its presence. The moment a robot becomes background noise, the future has already arrived. And once that background noise settles in, the conversation shifts from, should this exist? To, how did we live without it? That's when technologies stop being debated and start being assumed. Electricity reached that point. The internet did too. Smartphones followed the same path. Humanoid robots are approaching that threshold now, and Optimus Gen 3 sits right at the edge of it. What's especially striking is how little spectacle Tesla is relying on at this stage. There's no promise of instant perfection. No claims that Optimus will suddenly outperform humans at everything. Instead, the messaging is restrained, focused, almost quiet. That restraint signals confidence. When a company truly believes in a product's long-term impact, it doesn't need to oversell the present. It just needs to keep improving. Behind that confidence is a massive amount of iteration. Every joint, sensor, and control system in Optimus exists because something failed before it. Every smooth movement you see is the result of countless awkward ones that didn't make it to the demo stage. This trial and error process isn't glamorous, but it's essential. It's also why progress feels slow until it suddenly isn't. Most breakthroughs happen invisibly, then reveal themselves all at once. Another element quietly reshaping expectations is autonomy. Not full independence, but situational awareness. Optimus isn't meant to roam freely without direction. It's meant to understand space, objects, and intent well enough to act safely within human environments. That distinction matters. Autonomy doesn't mean unpredictability. It means reducing the need for micromanagement. The robot doesn't ask questions every second. It completes tasks smoothly, intervening only when something unexpected happens. That capability alone reduces cognitive load for humans. Anyone who's managed automation knows that poorly designed systems demand constant attention. Well-designed ones fade into the background. Optimus is being built to do the latter. You shouldn't have to think about the robot once it's working. That's the real measure of success. As this technology matures, it will also challenge how we define independence. Today, independence often means doing everything yourself. In the future, it may mean knowing how to delegate effectively, not to people, but to machines. The ability to offload physical tasks without guilt or friction could reshape daily routines in subtle but meaningful ways. Time opens up. Energy returns. stress declines. That doesn't mean people stop working or striving. It means they choose where to focus. Less effort spent maintaining life, more effort spent shaping it. That's a powerful shift, and it explains why some resistance is emotional rather than rational. Letting go of familiar struggles can feel like losing purpose. Even when it in single quotes, this is also where education and adaptation become critical. The biggest risk isn't robots replacing humans. It's humans failing to adapt to a world where robots exist. Skills that involve creativity, coordination, oversight, and emotional intelligence will matter more than ever. Learning how to work alongside intelligent machines won't be optional. It will be foundational, and that transition won't happen evenly. Some people will benefit sooner. Others will lag behind. Managing that imbalance will be one of society's biggest challenges in the coming years. Technology doesn't distribute itself fairly by default. That's a human responsibility. Optimus doesn't solve that problem. It amplifies the need to address it. Still, it's hard to ignore the optimism baked into this moment. For the first time, humanoid robots are being discussed, not as novelties or threats, but as practical tools designed around human needs. That framing matters. It shapes public perception, it guides development, and it influences how quickly trust forms. So as Optimus Gen 3 moves closer to real-world deployment, the story isn't about dominance or displacement. It's about integration, about machines fitting into human life without demanding center stage, about technology finally adapting to us instead of forcing us to adapt to it. The future this points toward isn't loud or dramatic. It's subtle, helpful, almost mundane, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. And that subtlety is the real signal. When technology stops demanding attention, it starts shaping behavior. Optimus Gen 3 isn't meant to dominate conversations or flood headlines forever. It's meant to quietly become part of the environment, like electricity humming behind the walls or software running invisibly in the background. The less people notice it, the more successful it becomes. What's interesting is how quickly expectations recalibrate once a tool proves reliable. At first, people will treat Optimus carefully, maybe even awkwardly. They'll watch every movement, listen for mistakes, look for reasons to doubt it. But over time, those checks fade. Trust builds not because the robot is impressive, but because it's predictable. It does what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it without drama. And predictability is the foundation of trust. This shift also forces a reconsideration of what progress actually looks like. For years, progress in tech was flashy. Faster screens, brighter displays, louder announcements. Humanoid robots flip that script. Progress becomes quieter, smoother, less visible. A task that used to take effort now takes none. A problem that once required planning now resolves itself. That kind of progress doesn't feel revolutionary in the moment. It feels relieving. There's also a cultural shift happening alongside the technical one. As robots take on more physical responsibilities, human identity begins to decouple from labor. People have long tied self-worth to productivity, especially physical productivity. Removing that burden creates space for reevaluation. What does it mean to contribute? What does fulfillment look like when survival requires less effort? These aren't questions technology answers for us, but it forces us to confront them. In that sense, Optimus Gen 3 isn't just a machine. It's a mirror. It reflects how much of daily life is spent maintaining systems rather than enjoying outcomes. Cleaning, organizing, lifting, transporting necessary tasks, but rarely meaningful ones. Offloading them doesn't reduce humanity. It refocuses it, of course. Not everyone will embrace that refocus at the same pace. Some will resist out of habit, others out of fear. And some because change threatens structures they benefit from. That resistance is natural. Every major technological shift meets it. What matters is whether the technology provides enough value to outweigh the discomfort. If it does, adoption becomes inevitable. Regardless of debate, another factor that will accelerate acceptance is normalization through exposure. The first time someone sees a humanoid robot in a home, it feels strange. The 10th time, it feels interesting. The 100th time, it feels ordinary. Children growing up around these machines won't question their presence at all. For them, robots helping with chores will feel as normal as dishwashers or washing machines do today. That generational perspective is crucial. Long-term change isn't driven by early adopters alone. It's cemented by those who never knew the alternative. Optimus Gen 3 may feel futuristic now, but to the next generation, it will feel foundational, something that was always there. And that's why this moment matters more than any single demo or statistic. It's not about speed, strength, or intelligence in isolation. It's about convergence. Hardware, software, data, manufacturing, and social readiness all aligning at once. That alignment doesn't happen often. When it does, it marks the beginning of a new baseline. Years from now, people may struggle to pinpoint exactly when humanoid robots became normal. There won't be one dramatic event, just a series of small, sensible decisions that slowly add up to permanence. Optimus Gen 3 is one of those decisions, not the final one, but an early one that makes everything else possible. See, once that baseline shifts, resistance stops being a meaningful obstacle. At that point, the technology no longer needs permission. It simply exists. And the conversation moves from philosophy to logistics. Availability, pricing, support, integration. The same mundane questions that follow every tool that becomes essential. What's happening with Optimus Gen 3 is the early formation of that inevitability. Not because the robot is perfect, but because it's good enough to start. That threshold matters more than excellence. Once something crosses from impressive to useful, improvement becomes a matter of time, not possibility. And this is where Tesla's long-term mindset becomes impossible to ignore. The company isn't chasing short-term validation. It's laying foundations, infrastructure, manufacturing lines, training pipelines. These are not the moves of a company testing a concept. They're the moves of a company preparing for scale, massive scale. Musk's habit of talking about millions of units per year sounds extreme until you realize Tesla has already done exactly that with cars. The same arguments were made back then. Too complex, too expensive, too ambitious. Yet here we are. The lesson isn't that every bold prediction comes true. It's that dismissing them outright often misses the trajectory. Optimus also forces a rethinking of ownership itself. Unlike cars or appliances, a humanoid robot isn't static. It changes, it improves, it learns. That means the value proposition isn't locked in at purchase. It compounds. Over time, the robot becomes more capable, more helpful, more aligned with the user's needs. That creates a form of attachment that's unfamiliar but powerful. An attachment doesn't require emotion. It requires reliability. Humans bond with things that reduce friction in their lives. Tools that consistently solve problems earn loyalty. Optimus doesn't need to feel human to matter. It just needs to show up. This shift also has implications beyond individual homes, cities, infrastructure, aging populations, labor shortages. All of these pressures exist right now, independent of robotics. Optimus doesn't create them. It intersects with them. In some cases, it may relieve them. In others, it may expose deeper issues that technology alone can't fix. But even exposure has value. It forces clarity. If a robot can handle physical care for the elderly, then the human role becomes emotional and relational rather than logistical. That distinction matters. It elevates what only humans can do instead of diluting it. There's also a geopolitical dimension quietly forming. Nations that adopt and integrate humanoid robots effectively may gain economic advantages, productivity, resilience, adaptability. Those that resist may fall behind. Not because they lack values, but because they lack tools. This isn't a moral judgment. It's a pattern that's repeated throughout history. Yet for all the global implications, the most important impact will remain personal. Individual households deciding whether a robot is worth it, whether it helps, whether it fits. That's where acceptance truly begins. Not in policy papers or conferences, but in lived experience. And lived experience tends to cut through theory quickly. A robot that reliably helps with daily life changes how people think about technology in general. It stops being abstract. It becomes tangible, present, normal. So as Optimus Gen 3 edges closer to release, the smartest question may not be what will this become, but what will this quietly replace? Not jobs, not people, but friction, fatigue, time spent on things we never wanted to do in the first place. That's the kind of change that doesn't announce itself as revolutionary. It just feels obvious in hindsight, And when friction disappears, people rarely mourn it. They adapt. They move on. They fill the newly freed space with things that feel more intentional. That's why the real impact of Optimus Gen 3 won't be measured in specs or demos, but in habits. How mornings change when chores aren't waiting. How evenings feel when exhaustion isn't the default. How attention shifts when routine maintenance no longer consumes mental energy. This is where the conversation about robots quietly becomes a conversation about time. Time is the one resource that never scaled well for humans. No matter how advanced society became, everyone still got the same 24 hours. Optimus doesn't create more time, but it reallocates it. It compresses the effort required to keep life running. And once people experience that compression, going back feels irrational. There's also a deeper psychological layer at play. Humans are incredibly adaptable, but also incredibly forgetful. We forget how inconvenient things used to be once convenience becomes normal. Few people remember what life was like before search engines, navigation apps, or instant communication. Those technologies didn't just make tasks easier, they reshaped expectations. Optimus is poised to do the same for physical effort. At first, the robot will feel like a helper. Then it will feel like infrastructure. And eventually, it will feel invisible. That invisibility isn't neglect, it's success. The most transformative tools fade into the background because they stop demanding conscious thought. They become assumptions. This also reframes the fear that robots will take over. Take over what, exactly? The burden, the repetition, the chores people never wanted to define them in the first place. That fear often comes from imagining robots replacing meaning, when in reality they replace maintenance. Meaning doesn't come from folding clothes or carrying boxes. It comes from what happens when those tasks are no longer the center of life. Still, there will be moments of discomfort. Moments when a robot does something unexpectedly well. Moments when it highlights how much of human labor was never about creativity or choice. Those moments can feel unsettling. They force reflection, and reflection is rarely comfortable. But discomfort isn't the same as danger. It's often a sign of transition. This is why the early years of Optimus adoption will be messy. Not technically, socially. People will debate boundaries, etiquette, dependency. There will be headlines, exaggerations, and backlash. All of it predictable. All of it temporary, because utility tends to outlast outrage. And while some will focus on worst-case scenarios, others will quietly integrate the technology and move forward. They'll gain advantages: time, energy, flexibility, and those advantages will compound. Over time, that gap becomes visible, not because anyone forced it, but because adaptation rewards early movers. Eventually, the question shifts again. Not should we use humanoid robots, but why wouldn't we? When a tool becomes reliable, safe, and helpful, opting out starts to feel like self-imposed friction. A choice, yes, but an increasingly uncommon one. That's how normalization works. Slowly at first, then all at once. Optimus Gen 3 doesn't need to be perfect to trigger that process. It just needs to work often enough to prove the direction is real. And once that direction is clear, the rest is momentum. And that's the part most people underestimate: the way change sneaks in through usefulness, not spectacle. No one wakes up one day and decides the world is different. It becomes different gradually, through a series of small conveniences that stack on top of each other until the old way feels unnecessarily difficult. Optimus Gen 3 is positioned to be one of those stacking moments. At first, it will live on the edges of daily life, helping in controlled environments, assisting with simple, clearly defined tasks. Early users will treat it cautiously, almost like a guest. But familiarity grows fast when reliability is consistent. The moment a robot completes the same task correctly 10 times in a row, trust begins to form. And once trust forms, expectations rise. That's when behavior shifts. People stop supervising and start delegating. They stop planning around effort and start planning around outcomes. This subtle shift changes how households operate, how businesses schedule work, and how individuals think about energy. Physical fatigue becomes optional rather than inevitable, and that reframes what a productive day looks like. What's interesting is how this also changes the meaning of help. In the past, help usually meant another person. That came with coordination, compromise, and sometimes guilt. Optimus offers a different kind of assistance: neutral, consistent, and demand. It doesn't negotiate, it simply performs the task. That predictability removes friction that often goes unspoken. Of course, that doesn't mean human relationships become less important. If anything, they become more intentional. When logistical burdens shrink, emotional and creative connections take center stage. Time once spent managing chores gets redirected toward conversation, learning, rest, or exploration. That's not a loss of humanity. It's a reallocation of it. This is why the real test for Optimus Gen 3 isn't technological. It's experiential. How does life feel with it around? Does it reduce stress or introduce new concerns? Does it simplify routines or complicate them? These answers won't come from specs or announcements. They'll come from lived experience, and they'll vary at first. Over time, though, patterns emerge. Successful tools converge toward similar roles. They become invisible where they work, and noticeable only when they fail. That's the direction Optimus is moving in, not toward dominance, but toward disappearance into the background of everyday life. And that's the paradox of transformative technology. The more powerful it becomes, the less attention it demands. The most impactful inventions don't feel dramatic once they mature. They feel obvious, necessary, hard to imagine. Okay, we are standing at a major turning point in the tech world as Tesla Bot Gen 3 is set to launch in Q1. This product is not only groundbreaking, but also has the potential to completely change the way we interact with robots and AI, according to Elon Musk. Optimus will bring a revolution to the robotics industry with the ability to learn and perform tasks just like humans. Tesla predicts that by 2026, they could produce 5,000 to 10,000 units of Optimus, a remarkable number for a completely new product, especially when considering the complexity of building robots with real AI and the flexibility of human-like hands. Musk shared that if Tesla can reach this production level, it would be a huge success, even though the ultimate goal is to produce millions of units per year in the future. With Optimus, Tesla is not just creating a simple robot, but an intelligent tool capable of learning from tutorial videos and performing tasks ranging from simple to complex, including household chores, childcare, and medical support. It's expected that, in the coming year, Optimus will not only be confined to Tesla environments, but will be available in real life, opening up great opportunities for application. Across many industries and in daily life, Tesla Bot Gen 3 will not just be a product, but the first step toward changing the tech world and society. Its arrival will certainly be a landmark moment in Tesla's journey toward the future, where robots are no longer just tools, but reliable companions. So, why should we expect great things from Tesla Bot? Yeah, for decades, the image of robots with artificial intelligence has been tied to extreme fears in the minds of people. The image of smart robots capable of surpassing humans in reasoning ability and physical strength often appears in science fiction movies. We've witnessed stories of machines rising up, breaking free from human control, and starting to dominate the world as seen in the Terminator, or I, Robot. These images have created a fear of robots in many people's minds, making them anxious about the future where technology could surpass and replace humans themselves. However, the reality is completely different. When we look at products like Tesla Bot Gen 3 developed by Elon Musk and Tesla, we can see that Tesla Bot is not a threat, but rather a tool to assist humans. Created to help us with daily tasks and improve the quality of life, the fear of robots is not without reason. Sci-fi movies often lead us to imagine a dark future where machines surpass and replace humans in most fields. People worry that as AI develops too powerfully, we might no longer be the masters of this world. Questions like, can robots replace humans in every job? Or could AI evolve to a point where it becomes dangerous to humans, are concerns that make many uncomfortable with technological advancement. Alongside this, the rapid development of intelligent robots from automated factories to healthcare. Robots has raised questions about workers' rights and job replacement. Will robots replace the jobs of human workers? Will there come a day when jobs humans have spent their lives learning and perfecting will be taken over by robots? This leads to concerns about losing jobs, rights, and even the role of humans in society. Robots can perform tasks more efficiently, tirelessly, and without rest. This could lead to a dramatic shift in the economy and society, one that humans might find difficult to adapt to. AI and robotics continue to advance, which they are advancing very rapidly. Like I said, working will be optional, and people will have any goods and services that they want. If AI and robotics are big enough to satisfy all human needs, then money is no longer its relevance declines dramatically. Greater than, however, the reality is completely different from what we might have imagined. Tesla Gen 3 is not a product designed to replace humans, but rather a tool created to assist us. Elon Musk has shared that the goal of TeslaBot is to help humans tackle tedious and time-consuming tasks, increasing productivity, and saving time for more important activities. Optimus is not a robot designed to dominate the world or replace humans. On the contrary, TeslaBot is a powerful tool that assists humans with tasks like house cleaning, elderly care, gardening, teaching children, and even supporting healthcare. These tasks require time, effort, and diligence, but they are not the kinds of work that people want to spend much time on. Optimus will free humans from these tasks so we can focus on activities that bring higher value. Musk has said that Optimus can work 24/7, helping humans to be more productive without the need for rest, all while avoiding any health issues. This will bring higher productivity to society as robots can enhance labor efficiency without compromising the quality of work. With TeslaBot, repetitive tasks can be delegated to robots, giving humans the opportunity to develop in more creative and innovative fields. And Elon Musk has always believed that TeslaBot Gen 3 will be the most important product in history. Musk doesn't just see Optimus as a robot, but as a tool that will bring about a complete transformation in the world. He believes that when Optimus becomes widespread, it will help eliminate poverty, provide excellent healthcare for everyone, and bring about sustainable prosperity. In a world where AI and robots can meet all human needs, Musk predicts that labor will become optional and currency will no longer hold the same importance as it once did. Okay, Musk has said that TeslaBot not only serves humans in everyday tasks, but could also become a great companion, helping with family care, teaching children, taking care of pets, or even performing surgery in emergency situations. This will open up a new future where humans no longer need to worry about strenuous work and can devote their time to higher value activities. While the fear of robots and AI persists, TeslaBot Gen 3 shows us that robots are not a threat, but a powerful tool to assist humans. Elon Musk has created a product that is not just meant to replace human jobs, but to enhance quality of life and help humans increase productivity in their work. One of the interesting things Elon Musk shared about TeslaBot Gen 3 is the feeling that users will have when they first encounter Optimus 3. He said that when we first meet Optimus Gen 3, it will look like a human in a robot suit. This reflects the incredible advancements in design and technology for TeslaBot as it gradually becomes so human-like that observers might even question whether it is a real person or just a robot. Musk has stated that Optimus Gen 3 will look like a human in a robot suit, marking a significant change from the first version of Optimus. In the early stages, the design of Optimus might not have been perfect and didn't convey the impression of a real human. But with Optimus Gen 3, Tesla's refined and improved both its appearance and functionality, making this robot look more realistic, like a person in a robot suit. This is not just a step forward in design, but also proof of the development in AI and robotics that Tesla is aiming for. Optimus Gen 3 will be more lifelike and natural than ever, to the point where people might mistake it for a human rather than a robot, a concept that just a few years ago would have been hard to imagine. One of the biggest rumors surrounding TeslaBot Gen 3 is its learning ability. Many believe that Optimus will possess super-intelligent AI capable of learning and adapting like a real human. According to Elon Musk's information, TeslaBot will not just be a robot performing tasks, but will also learn through videos in various situations, much like how humans learn from experience. This is an exciting prospect, as it would allow the robot to rapidly improve its skills in performing tasks without needing to be reprogrammed. However, while Musk has mentioned Optimus AI learning ability, he hasn't clearly disclosed the extent or capabilities of it. Still, the advancements in AI that Tesla is developing could turn these rumors into reality in the near future. Another rather bizarre rumor is that Tesla bought Gen 3 will have the ability to perform medical surgeries with high precision. This rumor stems from some unofficial information about the robot's hand dexterity, suggesting it could achieve human-like control. Some sources claim that Optimus could become an excellent surgeon capable of performing precise and quick surgeries, assisting with complex operations. While this is an intriguing possibility, we need to recognize that this ability may take a few more years to become a reality. Tesla bought Gen 3 might initially start with simpler tasks, such as household chores or assisting humans in manufacturing environments. Other rumors suggest that Optimus will not just be a home assistant, but could replace most human jobs from gardening, cleaning, and childcare to office tasks. Supporters of this rumor believe that Tesla bot Gen 3 could function as a versatile robot worker, handling everything from household work to more complex tasks in production and assembly. However, Elon Musk has repeatedly stated that the goal of Optimus is to assist humans, not replace them. This robot is meant to handle tedious, time-consuming tasks, allowing humans to focus on more creative and important activities. One of the hottest rumors about Optimus is that Tesla will build a global army of robots. With Musk's statements about the possibility of producing millions of units of Optimus annually, many believe that in the future there could be a massive army of Optimus robots helping in various fields, from family care and factory support to more complex jobs like rescue and disaster relief. Okay, while this is an exciting prospect, technology experts believe that Optimus will need many years of development to achieve the perfection in mass. Improvements in Optimus' speed and walking style have proven that Tesla is rapidly progressing toward making this humanoid robot a truly useful and effective product. Elon Musk shared that Optimus is not only improving in speed, but also in its movement style. Previously, Tesla aimed for Optimus to reach a maximum speed of 5.5 miles per hour. But the latest demo videos show the robot achieving speeds up to 6.88 miles per hour, which is an impressive running speed for a humanoid robot. This not only demonstrates its ability to move quickly, but also shows a more natural walking style with longer strides and shorter ground contact time, key factors in creating a human-like gait. This is crucial because a robot moving too slowly could become inefficient in industrial or household environments. With a top speed of 6.88 miles per hour, Optimus has surpassed the limits of an average robot, becoming a powerful tool in tasks that require speed and agility. This speed is nearly equivalent to that of an amateur track athlete and represents a significant leap compared to what other robots in the same category can achieve. In addition to speed, Optimus' walking style has also seen considerable improvements. Compared to other robots, such as those from China or Russia, Optimus stands out clearly. These robots typically have stiff robotic movements, like they've just gone through a rigorous workout with unstable steps and a risk of falling at any moment. On the other hand, Tesla bot has a human-like gait with smooth movements of the knees and ankles, creating a natural and graceful feel, just like a person jogging. This improvement not only comes from the increased speed, but also from the robot's motion control system. To achieve running speed and a natural gait, Optimus had to overcome many challenges in balancing precise kinematic calculations and controlling the force applied to the ground. All of these factors require a highly sophisticated sensor system and a powerful force control algorithm. Currently, Optimus can run fast without losing balance, and each step exhibits harmony between body parts like the knees, ankles, and spine, much like how humans move. What's particularly impressive is that Optimus not only moves quickly, but also runs without losing balance. Looking at the latest demo videos, you'll see that Optimus can even run with a human-like stride. Both of the robot's legs almost entirely lift off the ground with each step, something that other robots typically struggle with. Optimus can make long, stable strides while maintaining a balanced posture throughout the movement. Tesla hasn't just focused on improving speed, but also fine-tuned the dexterity of the robot's hands to handle tasks that require high precision, such as household chores, folding clothes, or even playing the piano. Elon Musk has stated that the next generation of Tesla robots will have 22 degrees of freedom in the hands, allowing Optimus to perform delicate and precise movements just like a human. This not only helps the robot become a perfect assistant in household tasks, but also expands its capabilities in industries requiring precision such as assembly and product inspection. All of these improvements are just the beginning of Optimus Gen 3's development journey. While Tesla has made significant achievements in enhancing speed and walking ability, upcoming advancements promise to push beyond the limits of what we can currently imagine. Optimus Gen 3 will not only be capable of moving quickly, but will also become an invaluable tool, not just in household tasks, but in industrial and manufacturing environments as well. So, do you think humanoid robots like Optimus will eventually become part of our daily lives? If Tesla's Optimus could help you with your job, what task would you have it perform? If you've heard the rumors that Tesla is going to launch its own smartphone this year, and you truly believe that it's actually going to happen and that you'll soon be able to buy a Tesla smartphone for under $1,000, then it looks like you may have fallen for one of the biggest scams of the century. Among the countless rumors surrounding Tesla about what the company will develop next and which potential products it might try its hand at, a smartphone is one of the most talked about. People have been constantly discussing its supposed launch. But why is that? That really comes as no surprise. If you search for Tesla phone on YouTube, you'll find countless videos with millions or hundreds of thousands of views claiming that Elon Musk has released a phone at an unbelievably low price. Each video featuring a different price point. However, Elon Musk has officially spoken out about the Tesla Pi phone and its supposed existence. So, is Tesla actually making a smartphone, or is this just a clickbait hype? Find out now. Be honest with us. Have you ever believed that Tesla would launch a phone? Leave a comment below, all right? The excitement from fans in the tech community is understandable. Rumors about this phone spread rapidly after Apple unveiled the iPhone 17. And the idea of a device with features even more advanced than the iPhone 17 truly captured public attention. It sparked a massive wave of belief and expectation. Even we once thought that Tesla might beat Apple with this phone. So, how did these rumors start, and what got people so excited? The first rumors about the Tesla Pi phone came from unofficial sources, claiming that Elon Musk was preparing for a major showdown with Apple, a company that has dominated the smartphone market for more than a decade. This sounded somewhat believable, since Elon Musk has publicly criticized the iPhone and Apple's way of doing business multiple times in the past. On several occasions, he even hinted that if Apple crossed the line, Tesla would make its own phone. From there, videos and articles about the Tesla Pi phone began to appear, filled with highly optimistic claims. People said the phone would be more powerful, smarter, and even more durable than the iPhone, yet sell for only half the price. What made people even more excited was the talk about Starlink. Some sources claimed that the Tesla Pi phone would integrate Starlink technology, allowing direct satellite connectivity without relying on 4G or 5G networks like traditional smartphones. The ability to access the internet from anywhere, even in remote or rural areas with no cellular signal, would be something never before seen in the history of smartphones. This was believed to be a groundbreaking feature that would put the Tesla Pi phone far ahead of competitors like the iPhone or Samsung Galaxy. Rumors about the phone's materials also became a major buzz factor. Some reports claimed that the Tesla Pi phone would be made from aerospace-grade titanium, a super durable material that is highly resistant to impacts and scratches, giving the device exceptional durability. This made users, especially those looking for a rugged and long-lasting product, even more excited. In addition, some speculation about the phone's features included a battery with a much larger capacity than the iPhone's, potentially lasting several days on a single charge. If this were true, the Tesla Pi phone would become an ideal choice for smartphone users who need extended usage without constantly worrying about battery life, a problem many users still struggle with today. All of these factors, from Starlink connectivity and an ultra-durable design to superior performance at a reasonable price, helped fuel a massive wave of excitement around the Tesla Pi phone. People began imagining a future where they owned a phone that was not only sleek and powerful, but could also change the way we connect with the world. However, when Elon Musk officially spoke out to deny these rumors, everything quickly changed, leaving many people feeling disappointed and let down. The X-phone people keeps talking, is that greater than? I have a lot on my plate, man, greater than I know. But it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up where I know I've asked you a couple times. I'm like, this is right. But, like so you're not working on a phone? greater than I'm not working on a phone, and YouTube videos where they're talking about a Tesla phone that releasing a Tesla phone, greater than no, we're not doing a phone, greater than have you ever thought about it? We could do a phone since like we like the operating system on the Tesla. It's like it's Linux-based, but we've written a massive amount of software on top of that. So like probably Tesla's in a better position to create a new phone that's not Android or iPhone than maybe any company in the world. But it's not something we want to do. Unless we have to or something. Yeah. This is one of the rare occasions when Elon Musk has clearly confirmed that Tesla is not making a phone and has no plans to release any kind of smartphone, despite all the rumors. In the past, Elon Musk even wrote on X, "Smartwatches and phones are yesterday's technology. Neuralinks are the future." The main reason Musk made these statements was to stop people from believing the rumors and waiting around to buy a so-called Tesla phone. So, why doesn't Tesla need to enter the smartphone market? Okay, according to Musk, even though Tesla is technically capable of producing a smartphone that could outperform others in terms of technology and features, the company sees no reason to enter the market unless there is a truly compelling justification. At the same time, Musk emphasized that a product like a mobile phone is not part of Tesla's long-term strategy. The smartphone market today is already heavily saturated, dominated by two giants, Apple and Samsung. Both companies have built extremely strong ecosystems with iOS and Android, and consumers are deeply locked in and generally unwilling to switch. Apple, in particular, has dominated the smartphone market for more than a decade with the continuous evolution OFC.